apple trees was a mistake.
Was it?
Yeah.
Why so?
Because children aren't like you and I were, you know. We were always angels as children. We respected everything.
Yeah.
And when we'd see small round objects, you know, we always left them. We never picked them for throwing and that.
Oh, we didn't?
No. And kids nowadays, they just haven't had any upbringing, you know. And they do those sort of things. Half of them go to waste because kids, you know, they'll pick them and throw them. Well, we need to educate the kids because they don't know when they're ripe, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see a green apple about that big with a little bite taken out of it and then lay on the ground.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, you want goat head.
Be careful what you call me now.
I don't care.
How you doing, Zeke?
I'm okay.
How you doing, brother? This is Wes.
He's taking a picture.
Wait, I'm gonna fix this door. Oh my God, oh, they're too small.
That's as big as they can. Wouldn't help that one.
Which one?
You know what I'm talking about.
They ain't done moving over there yet.
I'm talking about you. You know what
They
I'm
got
talking
their, hey, you got the good lumper.
Side wasn't in all that good shape.
We're over
They're
there.
great to see. Is he building you a porch?
I'm a mountaineer. I cut
been up
timber.
there.
I retired from it.
Well, I went up
20
there in the
some
mountains
years.
of Pennsylvania, and that's pretty good country up there. Also, it gets about like it is now in the middle of summer up there in the Allegheny. I know that.
I thought it was a snake.
Not a snake. Except these over here. Yeah, I know you guys probably gonna play with them, aren't you?
That name on there.
Yeah.
The John. Our son-in-law, the one who committed suicide,
Yeah.
his name was John. And many years ago, we were in Albuquerque, and John and I and his father, whose name was Clarence, we're sitting in the living room and talking, and John's father gets up and says, "Well, I need to go to the John." And John said, "Around here we call that the Clarence." So if that place is the Clarence, then where's the John? Okay. Well, so he had a little office building in their backyard, you know, and so I made a sign, the John. Okay, well, that building was, they moved to a different place, and there was a memorial fund, you know, set up. Our daughter got, you know, money in memory of John when he died, and some of that money was donated to the Peace Garden, and that money was used to build this building, so that's why it's called the John.
It's really...
This is another memorial. That's a memorial rose of a young girl whose father died. Yeah, a fellow from our church was a blacksmith, and he made that obelisk. With the dove on it and everything. Those are cattle panels. They're 48. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And they make rose arbors, huh?
Yeah, about 52 inches, and they're 16 feet long. So it's just kind of ideal, you know, to arch them, and then you get a cheap rose arbor. That's also a memorial rose there. That's when Marlon's dad died. That's the one in memory of him. And the ironwork is just something that I picked out of the trash somewhere. We had a sign out in front, and he came and asked me one day, "Is my name on there?" You know. He was a bully. He was given a tag in school, and what that meant to him was that he was no good. I'd ask him, "Jonathan, how are you?" "I'm no good." I said, "Where do you get that from?" And he says, "That's what people tell me, I'm no good." And I said, "Well, do you hear that here at the Peace Garden?" He said, "Well, no, here it's different." He would only come over here when when just I was here. If there were other kids around, he wouldn't come because he'd get in fights with them and stuff. And one day he did get in a fight with a kid, you know, and just pushed him down. I said, Jonathan, why'd you do that? And he said, because he gets to see his mom and I don't get to see mine. What he didn't know is that his mom lived 2 blocks away, and the reason he didn't get to see her is she didn't want to see him. He lived with his grandparents. So Jonathan he'd just come over here and just hang around, and he loved to come over and eat carrots and peas and things. And one day in August, he came over. He said, what happens to roses in the wintertime? And I said, well, they go dormant. As the days get shorter and as it gets colder, they lose their leaves, and then they grow dormant. Then in the spring, when the days get longer and it gets warmer, they leaf out again and they have blossoms. He says, I want to plant a rose bush over here. And I said, well, Jonathan, we really have several rose bushes over here already. And he said, no, but I want to plant one. And I tried to get out of it. I said, well, Jonathan, I don't think we have room, you know. And then he said, well, I have a rose bush I want to plant. Oh. And I said, well, where'd you get it? And he said, I dug it up along the fence in back the house. And I said, well, why'd you dig it up? I was afraid it would die in the wintertime. So I said, well, you go get it. And then, of course, it took me 15 seconds to find a place to plant it, you know. So this is all part of the same thing. Yeah. And so he went home. He had a bucket with some sticks sticking out of it with some very dry dirt. It's August in Kansas. And so I looked at it, and a couple of the pieces even had a little bit of root on them, you know. So we came over here and planted it. And amazingly enough, it grew. Yeah. And Jonathan would come over and take care of it, you know. Well, a couple of months later, Jonathan said, well, he's moving to Georgia with his grandparents. And I said, well, Jonathan, who's going to take care of your roses when you leave? And he said, I guess you'll have to. That way you'll have something to remember me by. So that's why I have to tell that story, you know, in his memory. You know, one of the difficulties in people that aren't used to gardens and food is that they treat it like a grocery store. Now you have vegetables and you have food in the grocery store. So when you need food, then you go to the grocery store and get some. Well, it doesn't work that way in the garden. You can't harvest things in the garden only when you need them. You need to harvest them when they need to be harvested. And so much goes to waste, you know, because they don't harvest the beans in time because, well, they don't need any beans, you know, so they don't pick them. So and that's part of the educational process, you know, that we go through. Yeah.